Okay, I think we need something funny. Okay. Why did the Clodsire cross the road?
Get to the other side.
Yeah, that's actually all I have. Hello and welcome everybody to Double Dip Draft. I am your host, Cabral, coach of the Hash-Swinging H-Slashers. Joining me today...
It's Aurora, coach of the Hoodrook Hunters, and we're here to look at Teal Division Week 4.
Yes, we're finally basically caught up with all the recaps and everything for once, which is crazy. I feel like this happened last season too. But a lot of stuff goes into these. We do have a bit of a mix-up in the Teal division. This is actually Skittles the Butt, coach of the Cresselias last season. Or last season, sorry, not last season, last match for this.
We're kicking him out, he's gone. This fucking,
last match.
Taking him behind the shed.
Last match for this season. And so we have a new team to look at. Now, we're not going to look at that team until after we finish talking about all these matches. But if you have Dan, coach of the Downtown Dragnoites, our new team, if you have him as your opponent coming up and you want to get some insight on the team, we're doing analysis after all the matches. You'll be able to sit down with us and join us for that conversation. On top of that, though, we have some very fun stats going on. We did get to hear kind of what was going on with like Week 3 stats and stuff like that on some of the other divisions like Teal and like Violet and like Scarlet. But, you know, over in Teal, it's actually the only other team that has like the win and losses are like opposites, right? So it's 3-2-2, 1-1-1-0, like across the board.
Yeah, the wins and losses just sort of like mirror themselves down the middle.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Which is always interesting when it does that.
Yeah, but we're going to Week 4, and kind of how I mentioned with Week 3, Week 4 is really the week where I think you get to see who will be sticking around the top end and who will be sticking around the bottom end. Not that that's guaranteed. It obviously depends on differential. I will say, though, I think Teal is one of the more, I guess, balanced in some sense. So, for instance, Scoot's at the top with 14 at this point, coming off of Week 3, right? And Skittles at -14 coming off of Week 3. But everyone else is 5 and under to 0.
Yeah, they're all really, like, close together, which is, like, unusual. But, like, like all of these, like, wins and losses have been, like, marginal at best.
Yeah.
For the most part. We do see like a little bit of wonkiness with the person in currently 4th place, the Duckletts.
Yeah.
Being 2-1 with 0 differential. And that puts them over the Milotics, who are 1-2, but with a positive 2 differentials. Like, the differential's higher.
Yeah.
But because they have just a win less, they're below.
Yeah. And that means there's a lot of room for just any quick shuffling, any quick little loss and stuff, because a lot of the matches have been fairly close and not super duper big, it feels like, for some of the players. Because we're almost at 0 for most of the players are near 0, and the differential's so close and the win-loss is so close, it's still anyone's game into Week 4, and I think Teal is one of the biggest exceptions of that, you know?
Yeah, because usually, like, the magic number that people tend to work towards is 4. Having 4 wins, you know, more than 50% basically, is almost a guaranteed ticket into playoffs, whereas having 4 losses almost guarantees that you're out. These aren't fully, like, set in stone. We have people, like we said before, like, people have gone into playoffs with 3-4 records before.
Yeah, I have actually.
But it's a pretty like, yeah, it's a pretty like fucked up like division that you have. Like you usually have a lot of losses stacked onto like 2 people, a lot of wins stacked onto 2 people.
Yep.
And then like the middle has to be like very tight in order for a 3-win person to come through.
Yeah, for sure. But with that being said, we should probably jump into our first match if you want to introduce us.
Yes, our first match here is Ninetales, coach of the Dallas Duckletts, facing off against Kenneth, coach of the washed-up Wishiwashis, which
Yeah.
is
And with that being said, the washed up Wishiwashis are not seeming that washed up, kind of based on how the season's been going for Kenneth over here. But again, a lot of the scores are really close in this whole thing. And I think week 4 is where we're going to start to finally see who's falling off and who's not. And it may go into week 5, just depending. But I do see Swampert making an appearance, as well as Scyther coming back in. Terrapagos is here, as well as Magneton. Or Magnezone.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting match because both of these are 2-1 currently and very close differential.
Mm-hmm.
So one of these two is walking away here with their 3rd win, and the other one with their 2nd loss. Both of which are like not like a death sentence or like a guaranteed victory yet, but like it's getting you like that one step away from where like you want to be, so where you don't want to be.
Yeah, for sure. I do see Hitmonchan make an appearance, as well as Zervine and Galvantula, which is always a fun Pokemon. I think Galvantula gets overlooked sometimes. It does a lot of really neat things.
I love it. It's weirdly like a bug that doesn't use U-turn, it has Volt Switch instead.
Yeah.
It can set up webs. It's actually like decently fast, has okay like offensive stats, but like its main trick is that with Compound Eyes, Thunder becomes 91% accurate, which it's really good. Like people like run shit like Fire Blast and Hydro Pump all the time.
Yeah.
And now like a 91% accurate Thunder, that's not bad. And that combined with like I think it's like 109 special attack or something.
Something like that. It's just about.
It actually like, like it hits hard enough. Like because it has like the downside of like it's not a stat that's incredible.
Yeah.
But it uses higher base power moves, which to make up for that difference.
Well, it also doesn't it also get Giga Drain as well? Because I'm just kind of thinking how well this sits on most of this.
It gets like Giga Drain. It gets Bug Buzz.
It gets some decent move pool, and it kind of does really decent against. I'm looking at Kenneth's team here, and Galvantula does pretty alright overall. I think Terrapagos is the only thing it's really not hitting super hard. But I mean, it hits Swampert, it hits Scyther, hits Bruxish, you know?
Yeah, a lot of options. An interesting thing is also we have Magneton here.
Yeah.
It's the only Steel type on Nidalee end being the Duraludon.
Mm-hmm.
And that matchup doesn't exactly go into Magneton's favor. Like the one trick you could pull is the Iron Defense Body Press.
Yeah.
But Duraludon's special. So it's definitely not like one of those things that like once Magneton gets its like hands on it, it just like gets an assured kill. Like it still has to be played smart from like both ends.
No, it definitely is. And again, we're going to week 4, and these are experienced players as this. Chemist is a playoffs contender a lot of times, and Nidalee also the last few seasons has been going to playoffs for I think almost every season at this point.
Yeah, Nidalee has been doing like pretty well for himself. And I think like he has definitely like shown that like he has like the knowledge and the like the insights like in the moment to like position himself like for victory if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, for sure. But with that being said, I think, as much as we can talk about it, we should probably just sit down and actually watch how this plays out, with Terrapagos coming out first, and we do see Sticky Web coming out.
Sticky Web.
I do see Rocks and Webs come out. Straight Thunder, like we were just talking about. Terra Shell's nice, makes everything just, is it not very effective, I think?
Yeah, it makes the first hit not very effective, which at first I thought, that just makes it the same as multi-scale. That's not true. Multi-scale just halves the damage.
Yeah.
In this case, like if something was basically like, if this thing gets hit by a fighting type move, instead of super effective, it's now resistant, which basically makes it 4 times less effective.
Yeah, I do love that we had a war of like hazards, and they're all just gone now.
Yeah, like we had webs and stealth rocks going up at the start, and now both of them have been removed.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they come back in this.
I do think it's a shame that we lost Galvantula so early. We do see an Iron Defense preparing for an Earthquake. That's not Earthquake, though.
Yeah, the Swampert goes for Earth Power, offering to be a special Swampert instead, which is interesting because Swampert usually packs physical stuff. Just because Earthquake is a higher base power. And that's what it tends to spam the most. Also, like, it just makes flip turn better if you run physical.
Do you see a knockoff, but you dual wing, but it does just straight up kill this thing.
Yeah, interesting note there is that the Trailblaze boosted the speeds of the Superior, which means that it wasn't contrary.
Yeah.
So, very interesting to see what Ninetales was cooking with that set, but sadly it gets taken care of before
We keep going from
get to see
Arcanine to
it.
Arcanine.
And now at
to
this
Arcanine.
point, yeah, at this point Ninetales already lost 3 Pokemon, and things aren't going hot.
Yeah. Nice little poison,
Let's get
though.
the poison on this thing. Scammeth goes for the Quiver Dance. Yeah, he goes for Sucker Punch to try and catch this Pavilion off guard, and sadly, the Sleep Powder misses, and that's a 3.5% chance.
Yeah, because it also has Compound Ice.
Yeah, a lot of Compound Ice in this match.
Jake Paul coming out here to punch something real good.
Yeah, we see that thing deal a lot of damage to Drake Paul, which I think actually means that Magnezone might be Specs.
Ooh, that would not be surprising. We see Morning Sun. Head smash, almost killing this thing.
We see the natural focus.
Oh, the Willow's missing.
And like the agency dodge with the Will-O-Wisp.
Setting up rocks instead of just hitting. It's like I get it, but you know.
Yeah, Ninetales deciding to like cut his loss and just like set up the rocks.
Yeah.
It does suck because this thing should not be poisoned and range should not be up.
Yeah.
That's just very unfortunate. On
that was Ninetales could have brought it back quite a bit. I don't know if Ninetales could have won, but definitely could have fixed the differential a little bit better here.
Yeah, we also I think like this thing would have sort of like done its thing regardless. The reason Zoroark doesn't go for Sucker Punch there likely is because this thing probably has Dazzling as its ability, which prevents it from being hit by priority moves. So yeah, I think like regardless of Rain and the Toxic that went off, like this Brock just would have come in and swept regardless. I don't think that changed anything.
That's fair. I don't know how much Rain, I don't know the calcs and everything on that. I don't know how much Rain really impacted Wave Crash to, again, was it a roll for Arcanine Hisui with like just a regular Wave Crash and not a thing?
I mean, it is 4 times effective, and Brock's isn't the worst like physically offensive.
That's fair.
Like I definitely think like that it was definitely not a roll for Hitmonchan or for Zoroark. Like,
no, I don't think so either. They're so frail.
Yeah. I mean, Hitmonchan like actually has like a pretty decent special defense, but this thing is coming at you from the physical side.
Yeah. But with that being said, Kemba does lock in that victory, and Ninetales, loses that match, which does put him at 3 losses or 2 losses.
2 losses, yeah, they're both 2 losses.
Yep, they're both 2-1. So yeah, 2 losses. Yeah, but with that being said, good.
2 losses, and Kemeth actually like winning 4-0 is like one of the bigger like differential changes that we've seen so far in this division.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to see that at the end and how all that really shakes up. With that being said, we do have our next match of Firebolt, coach of the Northern Ninetales, versus ASCII of the Philadelphia Phantumps. I do see Sun again. I think Sun has come every single week. But what hasn't come every single week is Avalugg Hisui over there.
Yeah, Avalugg Hisui is very interesting because it has pretty much the same stats as regular Avalugg.
Yeah, it's like a 5 difference.
Its typing is just like almost subjectively worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only upside to it is that now it has Rock Stab,
yeah,
to use offensively. But like defensively, this thing just falls apart like so hard, and it basically needs Totara.
Yeah, there's no special defense on these things. It's got like 36 special defense, but it's got a ton of just, regular defense. So yeah, Terra is probably a must for those Pokemon, unless your opponent for some reason doesn't have a fighting, water, ground, steel, grass move.
Is it weak to more things?
It's probably weak to more things, I'm sure. It's weak to fire.
It's not weak to fire, actually. Rock resists ice.
Oh, it was rock? Okay. Yeah. Ice resists ice.
But it's weak to so much. It has like 2 of the worst defensive typings on the defensive Pokemon. So like, yeah, this thing is kind of a sponge for your like Terra option. Which, I mean, the only like 2 ones that he brought with him are Delphox, Dusknoir, and the Avalugg.
Yeah. It does rapid
a fair
spin.
amount, actually. Like, a lot of teams tend to not have 3 options at Kentara.
Yeah. But again, it has rapid spin. It spins.
It does have rapid spin. I don't exactly know what it's doing when it rapid. Does it just like lift up its legs and like spin at the tip of its iceberg?
Well, it's made of ice, so
it
kind of just like it kind of just like spreads its legs and then just spins in a circle.
I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like it should hit harder then.
Yeah. Hey, I see Mousehold down there, by the way.
We do see Mouseholds. One thing that this thing is like a little bit infamous for doing is that if you give this thing a King's Rock, Population Bomb is a contact move.
Oh.
So King's Rock, I think, has like a 51 or something, like or even like higher percent chance of just flinching you.
That's so crazy.
It is disgusting. If it gets all 10 hits at least.
Yeah, that's so crazy actually. But I mean, with that being said, ASCII had a little rough last week. Got swept by Leafeon, looking to get a nice win here against Firebolt. Firebolt looking to just get another win to secure like placement in the season itself.
Both of these are actually currently 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think Firebolt coming fresh as a win from last week.
I believe that is the case. I don't remember who the win was against right now.
I think it was against Hills.
You know what? That makes sense, actually. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think Firebolt's coming off of a win. I think ASCII did lose.
Yep, to Scoots.
To Scoots. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's where he got swept by Leafeon.
Yeah, Firebolt trying to like keep his momentum. ASCII trying to like regain it.
Yeah.
And I say like we see who ends up on top, who gets their second win, and who is puts on the back foot for the rest of the season.
Hey, look, it's Avalugg against Torkoal. Oh, that's a Fire Avalugg, and that's a Rock Blast.
It's a Rock Blast, and this thing, like, if you consider that Torkoal's defense is incredibly high, Rock Blast, which is like a base 20 or something move, 20, 25, I think.
Oh, that's
like
Terra
dealing
Blast.
that amount of damage is crazy.
This thing we can see is running loaded dice. Oh.
Yeah, which also like shows us that like the Rock Blast hitting 5 times was basically a 50-50.
Yeah, Avalugg getting 2 hits is kind of crazy. Terra Dark into a Rock Slide. Pretty sure Avalugg would have actually lived a Rock Slide with 184 defense at like 90.
Oh yeah, it definitely
HP.
would have lived the. Definitely would have lived the Rock Slide. I guess like ASCII like predicted that it would switch, which he was right in.
Yeah.
Because this thing's flying, so it would have been taken nothing from your aspect.
Yeah.
And we do hear ASCII like realizes that this Gyarados is very bulky. Because like even while Triple Axel doesn't do that much in general, also like your Stone Edge killing the Duck there because it slides and it wasn't resisting the Stone Edge.
Goodra coming out. We get a Population Bomb and a Rocky Helmet. Oh,
the Rocky Helmet.
No. And Rocky Helmet activates for
the
every
entire
hit.
Screen's gone. Oh my god, the entire screen is just being covered in Rocky Helmet damage. Oh my god. Could you imagine if this thing was gooey?
Oh, that'd be so crazy. I would have loved to see it.
Yeah, every hit would have made 3 things happen. The damage, the Rocky Helmet damage, and the gooey.
So this Goodra is dishing out so much damage for not doing anything.
The only thing this Goodra has done so far is it's taken a nap.
Yeah. We do get 2 victory dances. Solid. Actually, this thing goes kind of hard and has a potential sweep here. If we can kill Goodra, the Rocky Helmet comes back.
The Rocky Helmet damage. Oh, the Rocky Helmet damage. And the Rocky Helmet damage.
It's still alive, though. It's okay. Okay, well, now it's dead. He had Shadow Sneak.
Yeah, so that Rocky Helmet has done 164% of, worth of HP.
That's so crazy.
To the Phantumps' team.
Yeah.
It catches the U-turn from Articuno. It gets its Population Bombs Mouseholds to death because the Rocky Helmet damage is higher than each of the individual population hits.
Yeah, and Triple Axel
also gets 3 hits on. It also gets 3 hits on the
Lilligant.
On the Lilligant.
Yeah.
So many regional forms on this team, I'm now realizing.
Yeah, there's a lot of regional forms. And that's just kind of crazy. That, Rocky Helmet just goes kind of hurt. Because Goodra has so much defense as it is. And the Population Bomb, that's so crazy. Because, it dishes out so much damage, but it kind of dies before it finishes what it was starting.
Yeah, Gudra's physical defense actually isn't like amazingly high.
No, its HP is though.
Yeah, but like it has like enough HP like to tank it, and like especially when it's like just receiving small hits like it does from Population Bomb. That's when Rocky Helmet really shines. We actually kind of saw it last week as well with Vincent's match.
Yeah.
Where the Rocky Helmet on the LMO lads, it just tore through so much. I think Banana System.
I believe it was Banana System, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, either way, like we've seen it like in a different division before. That Rocky Helmet just like goes in hard if you have to like hit it repeatedly.
Yeah, but with that, Fireball does take the win and continues his momentum with a solid 5-0.
Yeah, he had a quick scary moment with the +2 victory dance Lilligan, but the quick shadow sneak took care of it.
Yeah. Which my priority moves are so important to have.
Yeah, and now we move on to the third match we have this week, which is Not Pin, coach of the Kracked Kricketunes, and Skittles the Butts of the Crystal Cresselias.
Yeah, as we have mentioned, this is Skittles' last match. Skittles has dropped out at this point in the season of Double Dip. So we will miss the Mono Poison.
Yeah, we will miss the Mono Poison because, as we'll see later, the Mono Poison team has not been transferred.
It has not.
The person taking over the team wanted to go in a different direction, which is totally fair.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a bit unfortunate to see somebody like try to like do something fun and just have it not work to this degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Mono Poison is hard.
It's rough.
Yeah.
There's so many weaknesses because Psychic and Ground are so prevalent and hit so hard most of the time.
It's not necessarily that they have a lot of weaknesses. It's first of all like Ground being one of the weaknesses that they have. Ground, a lot of things just have coverage for Ground, and the coverage that things tend to have is Earthquake, which is a high base power move. And the second thing is that Poison is just terrible offensively.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good offensive Poison Pokemon. Gengar's here, which is great. Monkey Dory's here too, but like outside of that, Skuntank hits kind of hard physically. Trying to think of some other. Dragalge kind of hits hard, especially, but it's got more bulk. Iron Moth hits really hard, but
yeah, it's something that definitely like it's Poison is a lot more defensive oriented than it is offense oriented, and with a monotype team being defense oriented, it doesn't hold up because your team isn't varied enough to support it.
Yeah, that's for sure the case. It's
unfortunate, and we like to make things even worse. By the way, like about the whole like ground type weakness thing. Ursaluna is here.
Yeah.
Ursaluna Bloodman.
Ursaluna's here. Tinkaton's also here, which is Fairy Steel, but Steel makes the fairy immune to poison. So
yeah, like the one thing that's poison like is super effective against outside of grass. It's it's a Steel type in this case, so it just like hits like home even more, just like how poison is just kind of not good offensively, and it sucks. And yeah, I understand the desire to not want to like have to waste 3 more weeks throwing yourself just into a meat grinder.
No, I completely agree with that.
So let's take a quick peek as to like how this plays out.
One of the things is that like there's not a lot to say during these fights, because look, we get Steel type now, immune to poison. We see Calm Mind, and
we see it's immune to poison, and secondly also because this thing is levitate, it's also immune to ground, so the Clodsire just couldn't hit it whatsoever. And here we already just see the end. Like this thing now has double these Spit F.
Yep.
Skills has almost no physical options available.
Trying to burn.
A Steel type,
just
which is just it's a Steel type, which is just like really difficult for Skills to deal with.
Yeah, we can see Hex here not doing a ton at all, really, and the Calm Minds just keep coming at this point.
Yeah, it's at +4 now. Like this thing is taking a third of any given hit. It has Pain Split to heal itself back up.
Yeah, it is a shame. We get quite a few of these and not a crit at this time, because a crit would have actually made a big difference.
A crit would have made a difference, but if you take, so it would have done 3 times more damage, and then like a bit more. Would have done like 40, I think.
Yeah. Would have brought it down to worry about the burn a little more.
It does put it into like worry range to the point where like this Skuntank can potentially like come in and try like to sucker punch it or something.
Yeah.
But here we see like the other option has for healing, which is just Draining Kiss.
Yeah.
And it just regains so much health.
Future coming and get a
And
little
now like
buff.
only Clodsire and that thing Grafai are just left, and yeah, they're both just getting annihilated by Storm Power.
Yeah.
And this fight was just sort of over before we can, because like Heels would have had to make a very particular team to not have this happen.
Yeah, and I think this team was carried over from last week too, kind of looking at it at a glance, but I'm not 100% sure.
It's possible. I wouldn't put, like, again, like, given that the frustrations are already kind of mining, like, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah. But with that being said, Pimp gets a solid win here against Skibbles.
Yeah, takes his 6 win. Definitely is going to cash that out at the bank, because, again, like, differential was kind of close at the start of this week.
Yeah.
So getting a, like, boost of just 6-0 is definitely something he'll be very happy with.
For sure. With that being said...
With just one more match, which consists of Scoots, coach of the Dumblespoods army, fighting Snake of the Miami.
You almost had it. You were almost there.
It's fine. I had a small stroke, but I did at least know the name. I just had a stroke.
That's true. Yeah, because it's taken me a while, and I'm finally comfortable with it now. But I'm sorry, ASCII, Snake. I kept getting you two mixed up. I kept thinking ASCII was the, Miami Milotics and not the Philadelphia Phantumps, so that's on me. I kept doing that.
Yeah, but we have a team to analyze.
We do have a team to analyze. Scoots' team is terrifying. Just at a glance looking at it, I see Ting Lu, I see Feraligatr, because that gets sheer force now. I see the clapping Thunder Boy, I see Weavile, I see Espeon, and I see Wheezing Galar. That's a terrifying lineup.
Yeah, we see like three like fast offensive threats on Scoots' team with the Espeon, the Weavile, and sort of the Feraligatr.
Yeah.
We see like a very bulky offensive thing in the
Ting Lu, the Thunder.
Raging Bolt.
Raging Bolt, thank you.
Yeah, and then like Ting Lu and the Galar Wheezing like holding up the like defensive core.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just a strong team in general. Like, I do see the fish on Snake's team. I do see Gastrodon, which is fantastic. I do see Low Kicks, which is a funny, fun Pokemon. He does quite a few little things here and there. Probopass is solid with some Terra stuff because its defenses are really good.
Yeah, Probopass is one of those like Pokemon that like was sort of in the same vein as Hisuian Evolug, where it's like a defensive Pokemon with like a completely shit typing.
Yeah.
And Pokemon like that are like the ones that really get the shine once you get to Terrestrialize with them.
Oh, for sure.
Because then suddenly like their stats are actually like usable.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, you have like 145 defense. Cool. You get one shot by Earthquake by like any fighting type move. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I do see this being a little bit of an uphill battle just at the team preview for Snake, just because like one team lose there. That thing is insane.
Yeah,
and like
I think the best thing that the Snake has going for him here is that Chi-Yu firing off repeated like Fire Blasts or Dark Pulses or like whatever move he decides to go for.
Yeah.
Scoots does not take those well. Like even the two Pokemon that resist like Fire Blast, both in the
Feraligatr
and Feraligatr,
yeah,
they are not happy to take those hits.
Mm-hmm.
And like they definitely can take them repeatedly. They don't have like good ways to heal. I don't know if Raging Bolt has like Parabolic Charge.
Don't know. We'll have to watch and find out though, I think.
Yeah. Let's see what they managed to do.
Low Kicks, Eric Adams coming out, and the Bong Cloud also coming out. Solid U-turn from Eric Adams as we go into Rudy Giuliani getting a strange steam to the face. I see a naming convention happening.
Yeah. We also see like a tinted lens U-turn on this Weezing doing fucking nothing.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Solid, by the way, just going from Taunt and we get a burn, and then it is Levitate.
Yeah, Taunt
so.
to Wisp. Yeah, so this Gastrodon, it does not have many options. We do see like Hydro Pump coming out here, and God, if he had just like started clicking that one earlier, it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Relegator takes one here, takes playing like 29%, which not the most, but like this is coming off of a Gastrodon.
Yeah, that Trailblaze goes
God,
hard.
This thing
and
has Trailblaze.
And Sheer Force, because the speed did not get kicked off.
Yeah, it doesn't get a speed boost, so it means Sheer
This
Force
thing
is
hits
in play,
so hard.
Yeah. Like that Relegator is putting in work. The lefties being knocked off of Tinglu, which like does at least put it on a clock. Like it can't come in forever.
Yeah. Solid first impression.
Yeah, first impression really also just goes to show off how fucking bulky that Tinglu is.
Yeah, and Tinglu
It
actually
just
gets knocked out. I think the first time this season.
I believe so, yeah. Tinglu knocked out, and this thing comes in, just hits like that raw Terra boosted liquidation, rocky helmet damage.
Trying to get the rapid spin off, but at this point it was too little too late. Knock off the Black Sledge, which is
Black
nice.
Sledge.
Heat Wave doing a good job, Snake keeping up with Scoots.
Yeah, currently they are both at 4 Pokemon, though like Snake is worn down a lot more. And this thing now has a All Might boost.
Yeah, Body Press not doing a ton.
Yeah. See, Thunderbolt coming out. This thing, even despite it being faster, like you have to be careful with Thunderclap, and he didn't really have a way to play around it.
Yeah.
And even here, like Scoots decides to go for a Thunderbolt to like maybe potentially like read and to like work against like a potential substitute. Like he knows that like one Dark Pulse, one Overheat, like it doesn't kill him. He doesn't need to like risk the Thunderclap. He can just like attack and ensure that he is progressing. And we see that this Raging Bolt has put in a lot of work for Scoots so far.
It really has.
Really good.
It's been doing solid. Dragon Electric's a solid typing, and we were talking before the recording. And the only other electrics are like Zekrom and like Dracozolt, and that's it.
Yeah, Dracozolt are the only other ones, and we do really see like its typing is like quite good, surprisingly. Like it like hitting things neutrally for this thing usually is not a problem. You would have to be like either like a fairy with something that resists electrics, like fairy ground or fairy electric.
Yeah.
No, there's a fairy electric.
There is Dedenne.
The Dene, right? Yeah, that doesn't count. I think it's just gonna die anyway.
Yeah. But that being
it's been
said,
really good so far. I've been very impressed. Also, just like how Scoots has played it.
Yeah, that was really well played from start to finish. Relegator goes so hard, and I think for a long time it's overlooked, but getting Sheer Force has made it such a menace, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like it kind of like lacks, or like it falls like sort of like a little bit flat in the essence of like its stat spread is like too even.
Yeah.
A lot of its stats are like lost in its special attack that it doesn't want to use.
Mm-hmm.
So it ends up being like a bit slower than you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
But the specific things that it set out here to hunt, probably that Gastrodon, that Donphan, and the
Thunderous
mustache thing, fucking Probopass.
No, Probopass, yeah.
Yeah, like it's faster than all of those. So like that's what it really gets to show that like, hey, like having a decent attack, like even just a decent attack stat with Sheer Force puts in a lot of work.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've even seen that work with special stuff too. We saw last season Chemist Tauros with Sheer Force and like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and like something else.
Yeah, and Tauros does not even have a good like special deck. That thing's special deck is 40.
Yeah.
And like Sheer Force still like makes it not, I wouldn't say good, but if your opponent is lacking in SpDef, like they're obviously gonna throw in a physical wall against your Tauros, so like you can easily catch them with cards. Same reason that's Nasty Bat can be like surprising, because Crowbat's usually physical, and then suddenly it puts out a special set, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
My counter for this is no longer the counter.
Yeah, but that's the season 4 matches all wrapped up. Let's take a look over here on
Teal
season
Division 4 is all wrapped up. We're going on to season 5 now.
The season 4, sorry, week 4. I meant week 4 is all wrapped up at this point, and we're gonna jump into the stats, and then we're gonna go into the new team. So I'll take the top half. You can take the bottom half this time.
Mhm.
So after all these fights, we do have Scoots just jumping up the ladder even higher at 4 wins, no losses, and 18 differential. And I think this, based on looking at the rest of the teams here as well, Scoots is guaranteed playoffs. At this point, I feel like I can confidently say it is possible Scoots can lose the next 3 games and fall down, but based on how Scoots is as a player and where everyone else kind of is, I think Scoots is likely to remain near the top for playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. There's like a little chance of him like falling like out of playoffs at least. Like he can definitely, like, if he takes 3 losses now, like people will definitely like overtake him now.
Yeah. We do have Not Pimp with the Kricketunes in second at 3-1 and 8, with Cameron right behind at 3-1 and 7. Fireball is at 2-2 at 0. True neutral. Going into week 4, which is or week 5, I guess, which is pretty neat. We do have another 2-2 player, but you're going to cover that one.
Yeah, that's the Dallas Duckletts going 2-2 at -4. That's Ninetales. We have the Miami Milotics Snake going at 1-3, -2 differential. It's actually better than the Duckletts above them. But again, like the win record is the thing that primarily counts.
Yeah.
It's always the thing that's taken like a first priority. Next is the Philadelphia Phantumps going 1-3 at -7, and rounding off is Skittles deciding to say goodbye to us at 0-4 at -20.
Yeah. I think there's still room for a lot of shuffling in Teal division with what matches are left. Being at 3-1 is great by week 4, but at the same time, you're definitely being 8-7. That's not super duper high, and I think can easily become volatile if you're not careful and you get too comfy up there.
Yeah, because keep in mind that like not only can the person below you like at best shift up 7, you can shift down, or not 7, 6.
Yeah.
You can shift down 6 differential like in one go. So, like there can be a difference of 12 differential.
Oh yeah.
Between you and anybody else.
Well, even Snake of the Miami Milotics, like 1-3 -2, that's still fine because he can pull that back from that. If he gets a 4-0 next week, he goes 2-3 at +2. That's fine.
Yeah, if he like wins the rest of its matches and wins them like good enough to compete with the other people, which he currently like has one of the better differentials for that purpose. Like he can definitely claw back. He is not out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But with that being said, if you you're not worried about looking at the new team, then feel free to take off and check out the other division stuff. But we're gonna jump into our brand new team. We have Dan, coach of the Downtown Dragnoites. Dan doesn't have a lot of Showdown history. Does have history with Pokemon. I know him in person. He does a lot of Pokemon TCG, like tournament stuff, like playing professionally and this and that, going to tournaments and everything. And it's kind of neat, kind of cool. So he knows quite a bit about Pokemon, has played the games, hasn't done anything like this before, though, So he's got knowledge of Pokemon, but doesn't have a lot of, knowledge of this competitive type of play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting for someone sort of like new to competitive like video game Pokemon. Because it is sort of like a beast in itself, where like a lot of things you just kind of have to know beforehand, because the game is very bad at explaining certain things. But like him coming in the middle of a season and now basically having like 3 matches to test the waters, he can come in with like a clean mindset because he's already like 0-4 because he does inherit Skittles' standings.
Yep.
So like he doesn't need to worry about like if I lose this, I'm not making playoffs. Yeah. He's not making playoffs. That's already kind of like set in stone for him. Like he can kind of just like, okay, like I drafted this team, I get to like sort of learn to play with it, learn to team build, learn to counter team the other player.
Yeah.
Learn, like sort of like what's kind of mindset goes into competitive Pokemon, and the kind of plays that he's going to be making and playing against in the future.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what's kind of neat, is to have this unique opportunity, one, to be able to still team build. Of course, Downtown Dragonites had the option to keep Skills' team, had the option to keep those Pokemon if he wanted to. Everything has been switched at this point. I helped him do some team building, and there was discussion of wanting to keep Clodsire, wanting to keep Gengar. but those ended up not working out. We'll go into the Pokemon just a bit, but absolutely, when you can come in the middle of the season and not have to worry about like being super competitive, about just being like, I want to kind of figure out what the Pokemon are like, the gameplay and everything. It's very relieving that you don't have to do all that much, you know. It does help that he has some knowledge already and a decent understanding of the game, so that makes a big difference. But yeah, if you want to grab the top half of the Pokemon, I can grab the bottom half. You can do S through B, and I'll grab C's and under.
Yeah, one thing I do quickly want to mention first is usually when people drop out and someone else has to take over their team, we tend not to allow them to overhaul the team in its entirety. But given that like we do actively know that like skills, you know, went for a monotype team, and you know it has like handicap himself that way. We didn't want to like force that onto someone who didn't make that decision, so we did allow Dan to just swap all of his Pokemon if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Which he did. And what he swapped him to was at S tier, Landorus Therian, a staple threat of just like most other seasons, I think. This thing just like shows up so much.
Yeah.
Ground Flying, has Intimidate, has U-Turn, has Stealth Rocks. Doesn't have Defog anymore.
Nope.
Has 145 base attack, which is insanely high.
It does get Rock Polish, if I remember, though.
Yeah, gets Rock Polish, gets Sword Stance, like this thing can Dual Dance.
Yep.
Gets like funny stuff like Smackdown and Gravity. Fun Pokemon to play with. It is sort of the thing that like has been running like the OU metagame, at least like in previous generations, for a long time. So a lot of people are just like tired as hell of this thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's done that a lot less this generation, just because the like power creep is sort of
a lot of the power.
Not made it like irrelevant, but like it's made other Pokemon like just better than it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up in A tier, we have both Kleavor and Suicune.
Solid
Kleavor
Pokemon.
being the Hisuian evolution of. Is it just Scyther or does it come from Scizor?
It comes from Scyther, I'm pretty sure.
It's from Scyther. Okay, yeah. It's a Rock Bug, which is not the greatest typing in the world, definitely, but it can put in like some offensive pressure for sure, and it has the amazing signature move in Stone Axe, which both deals fuckload of damage, and it sets up Stealth Rocks. Yeah, the biggest sort of like crippling thing about it is it's not fully accurate, and if you miss, you don't get the damage, you don't get the Stealth Rocks, and you are just crying.
Yeah.
So that's, it's sort of like staple of rock type moves not to be fully accurate. It still sucks, and God, do I wish there were more like fully accurate physical rock type moves.
Yeah.
But this is the world that Game Freak has made for us, so unless you have Cornerstone Ogerpon or Iron Boulder, you just get to suffer. Yeah, Suicune, also just sort of a staple of draft in general. Funnily enough, like Skills has used this thing like in the past, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's just mono water, base 100 HP, 115 in both defensives.
Yeah.
Learns Calm Mind. This thing is such a pain in the ass to kill.
Oh yeah, it's base 90 special attack too. This thing hits just fine.
Yeah, I mean, like usually when this thing hits, you're not just hitting with a base 90 special attack. This thing 90% of the time has Calm Mind along with it.
Oh yeah. Gets Skull,
so like
gets Chilling Water for funsies.
Yeah, the like sort of like ancient ways of Suicune since like generation 2, I think, are like Crocoon and like the Sweepcoon with the just like Calm Mind, Rest, Sleep Talk, and a single water type move to clean up with.
Yep, so that's all you need. It's water, such a solid typing. Again, it's defensive HP, so good. You can't go wrong with Suicune. Suicune is a good bulky Pokemon.
Yeah, and also just like mono water, like is just very good defensively. Like, I think sort of like the thing that's like puts it over the edge a lot of the time is water already doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. It's grass and it's electric. Yeah, that's it. And freeze dry specifically, if you look at like a specific move.
Yep.
And grass is like the base power of those moves just tend to be lackluster.
Yeah,
Because it's stuff like Giga Drain, which is 75. Like I think Energy Ball is 90.
Yeah, Energy Ball's 90. Leaf Storm's 120. Petal Blizzard is like 120.
True, but like then you immediately are running like into things that like either have huge downsides, aren't fully accurate, both potentially in the case of Leaf Storm. And even then, you're probably not one-shotting it.
Yeah, and a lot of grass moves tend to be special. Not a ton of physical grass moves. A few, like Solar Blade, Leaf Blade. But again, Leaf Blade's not really common on most grass types. That's like a Leafeon and like one or two other grass types, I think. So there's not a lot of grass things. So Electric is the other option. And that's why Water Ground is such a solid typing.
Yeah. And Electric usually, like, most Pokemon are stuck with Thunderbolts.
Yep, special movesets.
Base 90. Yeah, which again, like, it's mostly special.
Yep.
Because that's just how this thing's going. Like, we do have Supercell Slam now.
Yeah.
And I am actually interested in seeing people potentially, like, run that to try.
I have run it once this season.
I've run it before, and I haven't clicked it yet, because it just hasn't really come up.
I think I killed one thing with it, but I can't remember.
Yeah. But, like, there are more physical options now, because before it was kind of just, like, Wild Charge or Bust, and not a lot of things got Wild Charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and aside from that, like, again, like, if you go up from Wild Charge, you're looking at Thunder, on the special side at least, you're looking at Thunder, which is 70% accurate.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have, like, the 130 base power of, like, Focus Blast.
Yeah.
It's only 110.
Yeah, it's only 110.
Yeah, so, like, you are giving up 30% accuracy for 20 extra base power.
Yeah. All that is to say that just Water's a solid typing. Suicune's one of the best bulky waters out there, actually, I think.
Yeah, and anyone fighting him is going to have to plan for it. If you, like, don't come into a fight without a plan to kill Suicune, you are going to lose, because you just cannot break this thing.
Yep.
Then, further down, for B tier, we have Hydreigon and Crocodile.
Yeah.
Both dark types, Hydreigon Dark Dragon, and Crocodile Dark Ground. Dark types, honestly, like, tend to be, like, a little bit premium. So I'm kind of surprised that he was, like, after the draft is passed, he was able to just pick up 2 of them. There's still, like, another one left. Like, you also could have gone for Iron Targalus.
Yeah.
But he probably wanted to pick up a dragon type.
Yeah. Well, I mean, stats are also just really solid, too.
Yeah, Hydreigon is one of the Pokemon that can, like, pretty decently pull off the mixed attacker shenanigans. Like, if this thing, like, runs superpower for coverage, that's a decent superpower. It's not like a throwaway move to, like, try and slap one thing with a 4x weakness.
Yeah.
Like, even just super effective, it can put in quite a bit of hurt. Aside from that, like, Hydreigon's move pool is just incredibly deep. This thing can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Also gets Levitate, which is just a good move to have. Gives him the second ground immunity so far, and he doesn't even have a ground type weakness yet.
Yeah, he does not actually have one.
Which is quite incredible, because ground is definitely one of the like most terrifying like offensive types. Funnily enough, that's like the fully like ground weak team has now shifted to having next to no ground weakness.
You know, I never even noticed that. There is no ground weakness on this entire team. That is, I think, incredible.
Yeah, it is like, again, really unlikely. The ground is good against a lot of different types, but he has his rock type is paired with bug, which resisted. His electric type is paired with grass, as we'll see later. His fire type is also just immune.
Yeah. He's got another Levitator coming up as well, and another grass type coming up as well.
Yeah. As for Crocodile is a bit more straightforward than Hydreigon is. Like, it's pretty much always going to be a physical attacker. Has Intimidate and Moxie as its abilities. Like, if this thing gets like a kill with Skill Shot, it basically just Dragon Dance. And now you have to try and stop it then and there, otherwise it's just going to spiral out of control.
Absolutely, especially with Moxie. Oh, that gets scary.
Yeah,
because so far, and we're not even done with the team yet, I'm looking though, and the speed tiers are fine. Like, we had 91, 85, 85, 98, 92 so far. That's not bad.
It's not a slow speed, but so far we haven't seen anything beat 100, and that's sort of like, at least for me personally, as he said, that's sort of like things above 100 is where you're getting fast.
Yes, no, I agree with that. But the thing is, I think there's a lot of players this season that have teams that don't have above 70 on average sometimes.
Oh yeah, like a lot of people, especially like mine is incredibly slow. My average speed is 59.
Yeah.
Yeah, my team's slow as heck.
Yeah.
But like a lot of teams tend to have like 1 or 2 Pokemon that like go like cross 110.
Yep.
And then usually it drops off pretty fast after that. Well, this like sort of like consistently stays not as high as that high.
No, but it's good.
But it doesn't
mid.
drop low.
Yeah. Because as soon as you start dropping down the tier list real quick, we do have Charizard up next, actually. Fire Flying, Terrified of Rocks. But, you know, base 100, it does special attacks, it gets solar power for funsies, and it's got a pretty decent move pool, and it hits decently hard. It gets Dragon Dance as well, so it can make its attack a little beefier to hit things with, and it's just kind of a fun Pokemon.
Yeah, Charizard's kind of like, you know, an old staple. Like, Game Freak has definitely like tried to like give it more and more tools to try and keep it relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say like at this point, it's like just with how hard power creep happened in Generation 9, like it definitely like just falls off a lot. Suffers from like just the fact that it is a fire flying type, which is 4 times weak to Stealth Rocks, which like oftentimes incentivizes you to have boots on it.
Yeah.
And like 109 special attack is just, you know, not every Pokemon has it. But like it's not like that astounding special attack that like I'm going to be writing my mother about it.
For sure. 1 second, I got a phone call.
I'll keep talking then. We have Hisuian Electrode, base 150 speed. Quite the jump up from like the entire rest of the team. It's a fun little thing. It's electric and grass, which is I think entirely unique typing to this thing, and its pre-evolution. The same typing. It doesn't have like anything in any of its other stats, like it's 60 HP, 50 attack, 70 defense, 80 special attack, and 80 special defense. But the fact that you can have a Pokemon that's 150 base speed, has already stab electric moves, and can now terrestrialize into ice for some nice Volt Beam combo. Even if it doesn't hit that hard, it's very good at like if a team is limping, to come in, be faster than everything, and clean up the game. Speaking of things that are fun and can clean up the game, Hitmonlee is also here. It learns Rapid Spin, which is nice. A little bit of hazard removal, which we haven't seen a lot of, if anything, on the team so far. 120 base physical attack, always good. Gets Reckless, I think, to like boost it even higher. Like Reckless Limber, and I think Unburden is its last ability. Also like a good special defense in 110. It does only have 50 base HP, unfortunately, but if you like invest in its HP and its defense, special defense, this thing can suddenly be like pretty surprisingly bulky, and has like some utility to work with it. But this thing having Unburden it's just a really fun like ability to run on this thing. If you can like counter your opponent setting up like some kind of terrain for you to like use a seed with. I know like in the past it's run like normal gem fake out to trigger Unburden, which is also like pretty cool. I think normal gem is not there anymore though. But if you do have like some way of triggering Unburden, it is fun, and it can quickly come out of control, because like a fighting type Pokemon usually tends to have like a fair amount of coverage, like fighting ends just like dark with knockoff.
I'm back from my phone call. You're talking about knockoff. Who you on?
On Hitmonlee, I'm talking about the fact that if this thing has Unburden active and is it already has like fighting and dark coverage, it hits most things, and then Poison Jab stores up the like barrier problem it has.
Well, on top of that, did you mention it getting knocked off or it getting knocked off?
It getting knockoff. I think it has knockoff at least.
It does have knockoff. It has Sucker Punch too. And again, if you have weakness policy and you get, hit by something.
If you can get weakness policy on this thing, it is kind of tough to live with.
It is, but it does get Endure and Sucker Punch, and that's so solid. That's so good. It gets, I think it gets triple axle too.
Yeah,
But
like fighting type Pokemon just tend to have like pretty good coverage.
yeah,
At the very least, like they tend to have like the different like elemental punches.
yeah, for sure.
You know, like if something has that 4 times weakness, you can just exploit it.
And you already
Just
mentioned
all
Electro
around,
Hisui at this point, I imagine.
Yes, I've stretched all about it being fast and it being able to like bolt beam things.
Yep. And it's just
it can blow up too.
Yep. Electric Grass is the fun typing. I think it's the only Electric Grass Pokemon out there, actually.
It's pre-evolution also, but yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but
Yeah, I mentioned it being like unique.
that's fair. But
Speaking of things that are unique,
yeah, Reggie.
base 200 special defense.
Oh, Regi's out here as well. We're missing a little bit of physical bulk on his team. There's not been a lot of crazy stuff, but like Regice is solid ice. But like it falls into the Reggies. It can Terra. It has clear body. It gets body press as well. It's a solid little Pokemon. The fact that it can Terra really helps that ice weakness overall.
Yeah, it has like it's the last of the Reggie 3, like original Reggie 3 to be drafted.
Yeah.
So it is fun to like see all of them be in play now.
Yeah.
And I know like Claire at least has been making extremely good use of Registeel.
Yep.
Which I would argue like it's a bit better than Regice just because it uses a base 150 for its body press rather than just the 100.
Yeah.
So, but if this thing does this thing get Iron Defense?
I believe it does get Iron Defense, but I can find out real quick.
Yeah, because if it does get Iron Defense, then that basically makes it just like the exact same.
It does actually not get Iron Defense, which is so weird.
Defense.
It does get Amnesia though.
Okay, yeah, then they probably like did a unique thing where like Regice doesn't actually have a way to boost its physical defense, and Regirock doesn't have a way to boost its special defense.
Yeah, that's probably.
They probably did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm. So it does get Snowscape though.
Yeah, that does probably make this Reggie like the worst of the 3.
Probably, but again, it's still 80 HP with 100 defense and 200 special defense. Like, it's
and
still
it does
gonna
also
be a
just
wall.
like just like outside of that body press, like it also just has like just straight up bolt beam combo, which is always nice. This ice beam and thunderbolt.
Yep. But again,
so, like,
you can throw up a
count on, like,
Snowscape.
hitting pretty much.
Get that defense buff.
Yeah. Get the defense buff in snow. That's true.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about that. And like the inverse is also true that Regirock can boost its special defense with Sandstorm or with Sandstorm. I actually didn't consider that. I'll have to keep it in mind.
Yeah.
Future me, take notes.
Well, on top of that too, Terras also get those same buffs. In case you didn't know, I found this out. If you Terra Ice and you're in Snow, you get the defense buff.
Yep. And if you were Ice and you are not Ice anymore, do you keep the buff?
I cannot guarantee that one, but that's definitely one to try out. I think it goes away
because I think you do also buff it for Sandstorm if you are no longer a Steel type or a Ground or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah. On top of that, we do round out the D tiers down here. I do see Executor, Morgrim, and Haunter. We do get another Prankster here and another Dark type. That is 3 Dark types on this team.
Yeah, very, very dark team.
Yeah.
And one thing that's also notably absent is Steel types.
Yeah, well,
and me and Cabral went over it, like all the remaining Steel types, and we have such like big winners like Magneton and Sliggoo.
Bastiodon's there.
Bastiodon definitely is one of the Pokemon of all
time. Bastiodon, unlike Avalugg, it doesn't get Rapid Spin, and sure you can tear it, but its move pool is not amazing.
Its move pool is shit. Its stats are shit.
It has 184 base defense and 100 HP. It's like fine.
It's just worse Avalugg is what it is.
It really is. Let me actually double check that. Sorry, I lied. It's 60 HP and 168 defense and 138 special.
But it's a shit ton worse than Avalugg. Is what it is.
It's way worse than Avalugg.
Yeah. It's in the Shuckle wheelhouse where like it has decent defenses, but it doesn't have the HP to work with it. And yes, Shuckle is hard to kill. And this thing, when it's not in its terrible rock steel typing, is also hard to kill. But
Yep, and it gets Surdy, which is not amazing. Yeah, it's moved
I mean,
forward.
Surdy's okay.
Surdy's okay.
Oh, it does get Trailblaze. It can boost at, what is it, like base 30 speed?
Base 30 speed, Trailblaze. Yeah,
let's go.
That's great, let's go.
Yeah, but Bastardon isn't here. And that's sort of the point. Like, there is no steel type on his team. In fact, there's only one poison type too.
Yeah.
And one fire type. Yeah, which... It means that Fairy is incredibly free against this team.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily his fault because, I mean, look at what was left. There's not a lot of options to deal with poisons and fairies at this point in the game.
I mean, there were at least 12 poison types that he could have picked from.
That's also true. But, you know, want to pick some more fun options.
That's fair. And it is like cool that we do get to see like a bunch of more Pokemon shine now.
Yeah, Executor.
And there is always the option of just like terrestrializing one of the lower Pokemon, like a Regice going into like Terra Poison and Terra Steel.
Oh.
Suddenly, like you are Moonblast spamming whatever the fuck you have.
Oh, actually, you know,
is it doing a goddamn thing to the Regice?
Yeah. Terra Ground Regice actually. Not Terra Ground. Sorry. Terra Steel, because like. You have, or even Terra Poison, because, you know, your ground weakness, you have none. People can bring ground against you, but you have so many levitators. You have 2 levitators and, like, what, 4 flyers? 2 flyers? 3 flyers? 2 flyers. 2 flyers and 2 levitators.
Levitate Pokemon.
Yeah.
3 levitate Pokemon, yeah, sure. Hunters,
oh, yeah. And, like, that's solid. So, you know. I think Poison goes a little harder with this team, actually, if he Terra's right. Morkrum's here. It basically throws up screens with Prankster, and I think that's about all it does. Taunts.
I mean, like it just sort of like does the standard Prankster bullshit of like screens, like taunts.
Yeah.
Maybe if it has like some kind of weather it can set up, it can try and do that.
Because
he does have a little bit...
It does not have
I don't
weather.
think it gets Sunny Day. I think it's like the only Prankster unit that actually doesn't get Sunny Day.
No. It gets Misty Terrain, though.
True, but that's not useful anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets Thunderwave, though, you know. Thunderwave, Trick, Taunt, that's all fine. Protect.
Yeah.
Light Screen. That's about it.
Yeah.
Fake Out.
Fake Out, too. You know, to deal like a tiny bit of chip damage.
Yeah. Parting Shot, actually. It gets Parting Shot.
Yeah, Parting Shot's also cool to have. So like, it has sort of like just like annoying harassment options.
Yeah.
It's never going to be like an offensive threat.
No.
And so like it's gonna have to be careful that it doesn't get set up on, but I think it has like taunt too.
Yeah, it does have taunt. Yeah,
so, like,
Parting Shot, taunt, and screens. That's fine because you're not there to hit things. You're there to support your own Pokemon. Executor gets whatchamacallit, Harvest, and you know you could do really, really silly things. Have you heard of a Starfberry?
What?
A Starfberry.
I have no idea what the fuck is Starfberry.
The Starfberry randomly like ups 2 of your stats if you like get down to a quarter of your health.
That's dumb.
So if you have Harvest and a Starfberry,
this sounds like a terrible. This is just like bad acupuncture.
it really is. But it's kind of funny, you know.
Yeah. I think the better ability that the Executor also does have is Chlorophyll.
Yeah, it's base 55 speed. That's fine. It can definitely work with that. And it has 125 special attack.
Yeah, just the base like 55. It does sort of like leave it at the whims of like, oh, if the opponent like has a Scarf Pokemon.
Yeah.
That Scarf Pokemon is probably faster.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of like a little bit unfortunate for this thing. And it also suffers from the fact that it just is a Grass Psychic, which also just like joins the ranks of one of the worst type combinations you can have. Yeah. But again, like it can Terra away from it.
It can.
Like you know, not all hope is lost.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, you know, looking at the team as a whole, it's fairly solid. I think with what he had left to work with, because you have to remember how much has already been drafted and no real viable steel types. Sure, Magneton you could probably argue for, but like to what end? You know.
I think the interesting thing about this team that I find is that like its bulk is like it's sort of based around Landorus and Suicune at the top.
Yeah, Regice at the bottom.
And then like he finds his offense in like the lower Pokemon.
Yeah, and that's probably the best thing that he could have done. And I think I even told him that when we were chatting. I'm like, you probably want your bulk on the higher end because all the bulk on lower end's gone. There's not any left.
Yeah, like bulk on lower end tends to be like a lot more premium than it is at the top. Because at the top, like people tend to look at like, oh, this thing has, you know, like a 16,000 attack and a shitload of good moves.
Yeah.
People tend to go like for like offensive things at the top usually, or at least like bulky offense things. So like it's a lot more available there than it is in the lower tiers.
Yeah, and I think that helps out with this team. And again, like overall the speed stats, like sure we have Regice and Executor really just being the slow things here, but everything else is like 80 and above, other than like Morgrim. And that's actually everything else is like 80 and above.
Yeah, it's kind of weird in that like a lot, like it is a lot of 80 and above. Then almost nothing is 100 or higher, and then you do have like the one Electrode to sort of like shore up.
Yeah.
And I do actually really like Electrode. I was really considering picking either like this one or like the base version.
I was also considering this one.
But yeah, because like again, like with terrestrialization, I feel it can actually put in like a fair amount of work.
I agree with that completely. Terra has really changed the game for a lot of the lower end Pokemon. And even Charizard, because that can Terra. And like...
Yeah, it can Terra. And Charizard is sort of like the second, like, quote-unquote, like, sun abuser here with the solar power.
Yeah.
And once Charizard gets solar power, it's actually hitting for, like, surprising amounts of damage. Like, it's about a 30% power boost, I think?
It's something like that. I could probably pull it up real quick, actually. I can just confirm that. 1.5 times.
Oh, it's 1.5 even, okay.
Yeah, and that's for special attack, so.
Yeah. Which, you know, Charizard wants to use that anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah. Again, it does get Dragonites. You can take advantage of it. It's not likely, but you can. I mean, even some of these other Pokemon, though, like, here's the thing. A lot of these Pokemon are at a point. Hitmonlee uses one Rapid Spin. It's outspeeding a lot of things. Charizard uses one Dragon Dance. It's outspeeding a lot of things. Hydreigon, same thing. Landorus uses Rock Polish. Same thing. Kleavor, I think, also gets Rock Polish. Same thing. I think Suicune gets Trailblaze. I can't confirm that. Yeah. Actually, I can confirm that.
Good skill shot.
Oh, does it?
It does, yeah.
Suicune.
I know, yeah, Vincent used it a lot last season.
Yeah, Suicune does get Trailblaze, though. Does not get skill shot.
True, but again, like, this is not Suicune's role.
No, it's not. But what I'm saying is, majority of these Pokemon have a way to get a little faster. And that's terrifying, actually. They don't need much to get going. And that's kind of what's really neat about the speed tier here. Yeah, it's not the fastest.
There's a lot of, like, speed control going on.
Yeah.
Like, the base speed numbers aren't the most impressive, but they can, like, become a lot better. And even, like, for something like Charizard, which has Dragon Dance, just because you Dragon Dance doesn't mean you have to be a physical attacker. Like, you can Dragon Dance just for the speed boost. And in fact, Milo did that against me this week.
Yeah. And it's really cool because you just get that little buff. Because, yeah, overall, I think this team is, you know, it's fairly solid. I think that it does have some holes, but this guy's also coming in mid-season when everything else has been drafted.
Yeah, like, you know, like, I think, like, if he had the option for a not completely terrible Steel type, he probably would have gone for it.
Yeah, for sure. But I think there's things to watch out for here. I think everything can easily speed creep you if you don't watch out for that, and everything here hits pretty hard with solid physical and special attackers alike. Actually, Charizard, Hydreigon, and Suicune hit pretty hard, especially Landorus, Kleavor, Hydreigon, Crocodile hit really hard physically. Hitmonlee hits really hard physically. Executor hits really hard specially, and so does Haunter. Haunter is really cool. You had Haunter once.
No, I didn't. People keep thinking this. I never had Haunter.
I thought you had Haunter for some reason. Who had Haunter?
No. Adiamus had Haunter, and he never used it, I think. If he did use it like once,
someone had it last season, I feel like. I don't remember right now, though. Either way, 115 special attack and 95 speed. Throw a scarf on that thing, or specs.
Oh, Vincent's had it before. Too.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And he also like rarely overused it.
Got it. Yeah. I like the
team. Definitely did his best with the things that are remaining, which like again it just sort of means that like a lot of some key things, like that good steel type, just aren't available anymore. Like at a certain point, the draft just runs out.
Yeah.
Game Freak did not make 120 good steel type Pokemon, unfortunately.
Not yet. Maybe someday.
Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe someday. And I mean, there were still some other decent options. There was options for a Rain Team. Politoed and Floatzel are still floating around. Venusaur is actually still around for like Sun options.
I think what tier is Venusaur? I think Venusaur is a higher tier than.
Venusaur's a B tier, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's like B tier. Yeah. And I think the B tiers that he had are fine. Like Hydreigon and Crocodile are like I can definitely see them like getting like plenty of value.
Yeah, for sure. But with that being said, that's about all we really have. We've already taken up so much of your time with this extra stuff on top of it. Any last things that you want to say going into week 5 at all?
Just good luck to everyone facing Dan and to Dan himself for in the coming weeks, and thank Dan for joining us because we always need someone to like fill the team if someone leaves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always like the most fun position to hop into something when you're already like 0-4. But I think like we said before, like gives him a unique chance here to sort of like get his feet wet and see what he thinks.
And just see what it's all about. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check out the other weeks and stay tuned for week 5 as we roll into it. We're getting close to playoffs, and I'm very excited to see who makes it and who doesn't.
It's gonna be very exciting to see how this plays out because very few things are set in stone yet. So we'll see how things pan out.
And be sure to check out the differential in Violet. It's bonkers.
It's fucking crazy. Like, none of these numbers make any kind of sense.
And they never will. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.